So Fortnite Ranked has been out for a couple of days now, and a lot of people are asking the question, how on earth do I rank up in this mode? As you probably know if you've played it at all, it's quite a bit different from Arena with the entire ranked system rather than just your points. And overall, it can be very confusing to figure out how to actually play, what the best game mode is, and basically just what you need to do in order to be successful in this mode. So in today's video, what I did was I compiled everything I know about this mode and all the best tips and tricks that I can give you guys to help you rank up super fast and potentially even reach the Unreal rank in Fortnite Ranked mode. Before we get into it, guys, if you do enjoy this video or you find it helpful, then be sure to drop a like on it. As well as that, if you want to see more Fortnite content just like this in the future, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. I post an absolute ton of videos solely based on helping you guys get better at the game, so make sure you don't miss out on that. And finally, guys, if you want to show some extra support, it's always appreciated if you could use code Teckoh in the item shop. It's 100% free for you. It takes like 5 seconds to type in, and it seriously does help me out a bunch. As always, a huge thank you to everyone who uses it. But with all that said, guys, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. So starting off this video, I want to begin with the basics of ranked mode. Basically, what I want to do is just give you guys the general information you're going to need to know first, and then we'll actually get into the best game mode and playstyle. A lot of this stuff is going to be pretty obvious. I just want to give you guys a good intro in case you're not familiar with everything. So essentially, ranked mode is the replacement for Arena. Instead of just being a point system with contenders, champions, and obviously open league, instead it has a full rank system including bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, elite, champion, and unreal. The elite, champion, and unreal ranks are just individual ranks, whereas with bronze through diamond, they're all going to have 3 sub ranks. Those ranks are going to be 1, 2, and 3 in order. So for example, if you go from silver 1, silver 2, silver 3, once you finish up silver 3, you're going to get into gold 1. As well as that, the game mode options here are going to be solos, duos, and squads. They actually did go ahead and vault trios. And essentially, the idea is that by playing well, you can rank up over time and gain access to different tournaments, cosmetic items, and even reach the Unreal leaderboard and compete to be at the top. As well as that, similar to Arena, ranked mode is going to be split into different seasons. So right now, the current season is Season 0, and this one is going to go until the end of Chapter 4, Season 3, and then it should follow the seasons normally. Season 0 is basically their time to patch everything up and make sure ranked mode is really, really good before they actually get into the official seasons. But Season 0 is still an actual season, and it's still going to have the same impact. It just may be even more impactful in the future. Finally, just the last little bit of information. Ranks are going to be split between 0 build mode and build mode. The only difference is that build mode has solos, duos, and squads, whereas 0 build currently at the time of making this video only has duos. But you can compete in either one. The tips in this video should mostly apply to both. And lastly, guys, the exact point system isn't known, which does make things a lot more complicated. But obviously, just like any other ranked mode or tournament, the placement and kills are going to be the biggest factors. And through just playing it a lot and kind of seeing what other people say about it, I have learned quite a bit about the point system, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a lot of that in this video. But with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and get into the best game mode. Now, the best game mode to play in ranked Fortnite is going to be a big question that a lot of people have. In my experience and from what I've seen, the best game modes currently to rank up tend to be solos or duos. I don't really see much of a discrepancy between the two. You can pretty much play either one of them. The one that I would not recommend playing is going to be squads. This is because in squads, people are constantly able to reboot, and I find that teams survive a lot longer and endgames tend to be a lot more stacked. And fights can be very, very chaotic with the current loot pool with all the Star Wars stuff, which can make things a lot less skill-based. And also, it's really just hard to strategize in squads because you have so many people and things are just so chaotic. Not to mention the fact that it's very hard to build a team of 4 good players, whereas you can run solos immediately or just find one person you know is good for duos. So overall, with the placement coming way faster in solos and duos, with teams being easier to eliminate, and with fights just being way less chaotic, I find that solos and duos are definitely going to be the best game modes. So unless you have a squad that you feel very confident with, I recommend you focus on either solos or duos. Getting into the next part of today's video though, and this is going to be the section that you guys have been waiting for, which is your playstyle. Basically in this section, I'll be giving you guys the exact formula that you need to rank up super fast. Now the big thing with playstyle right now is that it's been highly discussed because the actual format isn't known, as we talked about. What we do know about kills are going to be 2 different things that Epic actually told us. First off, eliminations later in the match count for more points, and the ranks of the people that you eliminate are also considered. We don't know the exact difference between how they count early and late game kills, but from my experience, it's not an actual insane amount. Early game kills still do count, but they're not a massive factor. So when it comes to that part of eliminations, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. If you do get kills in early game, they're going to help you out, but they're not going to help you out quite as much as getting a kill in like the top 3, for example. And of course, placement is also heavily taken into consideration. So overall, guys, I'm going to recommend you do it this way. In the earlier divisions, especially when you're not struggling as much in fights, I'm gonna want you guys to play aggressive. That means get your ODM gear, get your sword, or whatever mobility is in the game at that point, and basically just push fights constantly. It's gonna help you improve at fighting, it's gonna help you rank up much faster, and you're gonna want to go ahead and do that until your rank does stall out. Once you find that playing aggressive isn't getting you the same amount of progress, then you're gonna want to get more passive and play a bit more intelligently. Basically, what I'm telling you guys to do is play aggressive, and once you can't gain any rank by playing aggressive anymore, then you're gonna want to adjust your playstyle. Now, the big key here is gonna be the passive playstyle I'd recommend. Starting off with early game, you want to land at a fairly quiet spot. If you're feeling frisky, you might want to fight 1 or 2 teams early if you're contested, but focus primarily on just getting loot, getting good HP and materials, and play for endgame. From my experience, dying off spawn tends to lose you about 5 to 10%, so really you do want to focus heavily on avoiding any spawn deaths. This tends to be the biggest factor that stops people from ranking up right now. Honestly guys, if you need to land extra quiet to make sure you survive early game, then do it. Even if you land at a super quiet spot and you don't get too much amazing loot off spawn, you just get your basic AR and shotgun combo. There does tend to be a lot of loot kind of scattered throughout the map from all the combat caches, from other POIs that haven't been looted, and just from other fights and whatnot, so it is pretty easy to actually get loot. So with that in mind, if you do find yourself dying off spawn constantly, then I recommend you focus on getting really good at fighting, and in the meantime, go ahead and play a more passive spot because it's very easy to overcome an early loot deficit. Throughout mid game, you do want to try and play mostly passive. Feel free to fight if you're forced into it or if you have something to gain from it, but your main focus should be to make it until end game where kills count for a lot more and you can get placement points. In mid game, if you're playing for points, I do recommend you just focus on playing the dead side of zone. Basically what that means is just playing the side of zone that people are not rotating into. Throughout the entire game, if you're trying to play passive and not get fought, then the best way to do that is definitely going to be to play the dead side. And this strategy applies everywhere from the second or third zone up until the very end of the game. So if you're trying to maximize your point gain, I recommend you definitely look into getting way better at dead side. Really, it does just come to looking at your map and seeing where people aren't rotating into. Here's a very basic example on screen. And basically, you want to focus on playing these areas of zone, that way you don't run into people and you can play until endgame. And once you do hit endgame, your main goal should be to get good early rotations, possibly secure height if you're able to, and of course win the game if possible while you secure easy kills on players in shambles. You're going to want to look towards the back of the zone and see who's rotating late. Usually those people tend to be in worse situations. And at this point, if you did a good job of looting, getting your rotations in, getting good HP and materials, then endgame should be pretty simple. You won't win every single endgame you get into, even if you're totally stacked, but just trying to get the highest placement possible while securing kills is going to be the way to do it. The last thing I want to tell you guys when it comes to your playstyle and just this general gameplay stuff is that ranking up can be slow at times. Personally, I'll have days where I'll play for like 4 or 5 hours straight and not even rank up at all, but your main focus should be to play as consistent as possible, and by doing that, you should see your rank slowly climb up. You have a ton of time, so don't worry if you're not ranking up on a daily basis or you're feeling like you're going up too slow. Chances are you're doing fine and you just need to play consistent. Keep in mind that these seasons do go for an entire regular season, which is usually around 3 months, I believe. So even if you rank up once every couple of days or once every week, then you can reach a very high rank by the end of the season. So overall, guys, just be patient, play consistent, and you should do really good. But with all that said, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video on how to rank up fast in Fortnite ranked mode. I know this video came a little bit late for you guys, but I wanted to make sure I give you the best information, which meant I had to play a lot of rank to actually be able to make this video. But hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, then be sure to drop a like on it. As well as that, if you want to see more content just like this in the future, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. And finally, if you want to show some extra support on top of all that, then feel free to use code Teckoh in the item shop. It's 100% free for you. It takes like 5 seconds to type in, and it seriously does help me out a bunch. As always, a huge thank you to everyone who uses it. But with all that said, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.